Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast, and this is for trading for the week of August 9th to the 13th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with their money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of news that we have coming up, on Monday here, we have FOMC, a couple of FOMC members speaking. And over the last week or so, we have seen, or a couple of weeks, we have seen that markets have moved with these speeches. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Again, depending on the Fed member, basically any of the speeches that we have heard that have talked about continuation of the monetary policy as it is, those have been bad for the US dollar and good for the stock market, and vice versa. Anytime there's a mention of inflation or tapering, that has been good for the US dollar and bad for the stock market. So we'll keep an eye on these. In August, the liquidity tends to be quite low. A lot of people are away on vacations. As a result of that, not as much money in the market, and which can cause the moves or exaggerated moves over the summer. So just bear that in mind. We also have the JOLTS job openings here. Consumer confidence number here for Australia will be important. So we are seeing a big rise in the Delta variant in Australia, and there's been a bigger push towards the vaccination as well. But we'll keep an eye on that. If the business confidence number is positive, that will be good for Australian dollar. And same thing here, we have ZEW economic sentiment numbers for the Eurozone. Right now it's expected to drop, but if it comes in higher than expected here, that will be positive for Euro. And then consumer confidence number also from Australia, same thing, any kind of positive numbers will be good here. And we have more Fed members speaking, so we'll just have to keep an eye there. CPI numbers here, inflation numbers are important. Right now, there's a big focus on inflation because the costs of everything is going up. And if the inflation goes up, then the central banks are forced to raise their interest rates or tighten the monetary policy, and that is good for the currency. So we'll keep an eye on this. If the CPI numbers are higher than expected, we can expect US dollar to go up, and that will have a negative impact on the stock market. So that's something to bear in mind. GDP numbers here for the quarter for UK. They're looking quite good. And if the numbers are positive or come in higher than expected here, that will be a good thing for pound, and we can see the pound go up. PPI numbers for the month for the US, and employment numbers won't make that much of a difference, just coming right after the non-farm payroll number. And then we have consumer confidence numbers for the US. So that's it. That's it for now. And if we hear any kind of stuff like this, tightening, so this is the thing I'm talking about. Anytime we start seeing stuff about tightening monetary policy, inflation going up, anytime concerned about inflation, they have to tighten the monetary policy, and that's what the concern is. All right, so let's take a look at our charts now. We'll start off with euro dollar here. Now, with the euro, price has been trading in a range here for a number of weeks, and this is the range that it has established. So last 5 weeks, it's been stuck between 1.19 and 1.1750. So that's the range here. We do have a nice bearish candle close here. However, if you take a look at this range, we had a similar candle close, but then it bounced off. So this is where we have to be careful. We have to see a break through this range, and then we could get this continuation. That would make a continuation pattern. However, if you don't get this break, excuse me, it can just go back into the range from here, just like it did previously. So this is something to watch. Bias is bearish to, or neutral to bearish, I should say. Neutral because it could turn around, just like it did here, So we have to be careful. Once it goes through, though, then we will look for, we could look for this additional move to the downside. We'll have that continuation pattern, but for now, neutral to bearish bias. First target is 1.17, and then should it continue, then we will look at 1.16. So neutral to bearish bias, watch out for 1.1750. If price doesn't hold below that level, it could turn around. So we'll have to keep an eye on that on our daily. For the pound here, pound is looking bearish. So this one has also been trading in a bit of a range here over the last few weeks. And now we see price has rejected the top of the range. And as such, we have a nice or a small bearish pin bar here. So looking for a price to move further, drop further towards support at 1.3725. So bearish bias here, looking for it to drop within that range. Target is 1.3720. Aussie dollar, this one as well, over the last 3 weeks, it's been traded, it's been trading sideways here, hasn't really done much. Now, last week we saw price couldn't get through the resistance, it touched it and then bounced back, looking for price to drop towards 0.77285. Basically, I'm expecting a bit of a range bound move here, and then we'll have to see what happens at the support, because last time it bounced back into the range. So this time we'll have to wait and see. But right now, bias is neutral to bearish, expecting a return towards 0.7285. And then should it continue lower, we will look at 0.7220. So neutral to bearish bias here for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, this one as well has been trading in a range. Not much has happened. Price has just been stuck here. It hasn't been able to break through the support. Neither has it been able to go through the resistance. Right now, I'm neutral on this, basically expecting a range bound move here as well between 0.7100 and then 0.6920. So neutral bias for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD, this one has also been going sideways. A lot of these back and forth range bound moves at the moment. With our dollar CAD, as we can see, price came into the support and then bounced off here. So right now, in this case, I will look for a retest of the high at 1.2620. If it fails, we are back into the range. So neutral bias for dollar CAD as well, expecting a move between 1.2620 and 1.2420. Next one here, Euro Pound. Euro Pound hasn't had a nice drop. So Euro Pound had a nice drop, prices right into the support here. And as we can see, it's a major support. This is the big range price has been trading in. Actually, let me just get rid of the middle support resistance levels here. So here we are right at the bottom of this big range price has been trading in. Last time price was here, we saw this big bounce. Now it's back into the support level. So bias here is neutral to bearish, neutral because it's into the support and it could just as easily bounce back into the range. So watch out for that. But bias is, there is bearishness to it. Now, if it can make it through, then we will look for a continuation back into this support. This is where the big move took off. This was the inefficient move here that just has now, or it's getting filled. So we will look for that fill of this move here, the rest of it. But for now, the biggest decision would be, can it get through or not? And that's what we'll have to watch out for. So right now, neutral to bearish bias. Next target is 0.8400 and then 0.8340. So neutral to bearish bias, just mind the support at 0.8470. If it doesn't go through, we are back into the range. Euro Swiss franc here, this one did come into the support here, and as we can see, this is a nice solid support resistance level that price has struggled with previously, numerous times previously here, and now we are seeing that bounce off of that level. So looking for a move higher into 1.0820. So bias here is slightly bullish for pound Swiss franc. Sorry, euro Swiss franc here. Pound Swiss franc, this one as well, price wasn't able to hold below the support level. This is a important support resistance level. And now this one has also been trading in a range. So looking for price to go back into the resistance here towards the top of the range, 1.2785, but then we may see a drop back or bounce back into the range. So bullish bias within the range. Target is 1.2785. Dollar Swiss franc, this one also bounced off of the support resistance level here. And at this point, looking for a move back up again. And target is 0.9200 and then 0.9260, which is the top of this little range here. So bullish bias for dollar Swiss franc as well. Pound yen, this one has been stuck in the sideways range here for last several weeks here. Now we do have a slightly bullish candle. We see that price has been rejecting the support level here. It has done that numerous times. So we may see a move higher towards the higher part of this range. So 154.20 is the target here. Sorry, excuse me, neutral to bullish bias for pound yen. Euro yen here, this one did drop. So euro has been weaker, but as we can see, price is struggling with the support now, and we have that bit of a bounce there. So I'm looking for a retest and potentially a move back up into the range. So bias here is neutral for euro yen. Looking for a retest and potentially a bounce back up into the range. And the range I'm looking at is 130.65 and 129.10. So neutral bias here for euro yen. Dollar yen, this one has also been bouncing back and forth here, as we can sorry, excuse me. As we can see, price has been into the support. It bounced off of the support, went all the way into the lower part of the support, in fact, and now it bounced off. So looking for a retest of the high here again, 110.70. This is the range basically over the last 5 weeks. So if it doesn't go through this resistance here, we're back into the range. Many of these tend to get range bound over the summer here. For Aussie yen, this one also over the last 3 weeks here, it's been stuck in a sideways range, hasn't really done much. There is a small amount of bullishness, or little bullishness here, so we could see a move higher. First target is 81.50, which is right there. And then if it continues, we're looking for a retest of 82.80. So neutral to bullish bias here for Aussie yen. New Zealand yen, this one bounced off of the resistance on Friday, but this has also been sideways here. Price has just been stuck in this little range. It did come lower into the support, but then bounced off a few weeks ago. So right now there is bullishness to this candle that we saw close on Friday. But the problem is, can it get through the resistance or not? And we did see that small bounce off of the resistance on Friday. So looking for a move potentially back into the range here. So right now I'm treating this as a range bound move. So neutral bias here, looking for a retest of the high again, 77.70. If it bounces, if it doesn't go through, I'm looking for a move back towards a support at 76. So neutral bias for this one as well. CAD yen, again, as we can see, a lot of back and forth here. No real direction. It's just been bouncing here. So overall range is the tight range, and then a couple of times we have seen that move lower. But all these pins to this downside, which means we can potentially see a move higher. We may get a move higher here. So first target is 88.30, then 88.30, then 88.70, all the way into 89 essentially. So neutral to slightly bullish bias here for CAD yen. All right, so let's take a look at our commodities here. Quite a drop in silver the other day. And as a result of that, we have the problem here is I don't like this big inefficient move on the daily here. That's quite a drop. And many times these inefficient moves can get filled. So watch out for that. That was just a sudden drop there. Price is into support right now, as we can see. It could move further, but I'm always reluctant with this larger move. So bias is bearish. Watch out for a bit of a pullback, and then we are into some important support levels. So this is where it's been overall. If you take a look at silver, it's just been going sideways in this big range now. This is where it's been stuck over the whole of the entire year since last year. It's been stuck here. So now we are coming in. Sorry, excuse me, we're coming into support. It could go all the way here if it manages to break through the support. But the first thing we'll have to look at would be 23.80. So it could bounce off of this support level here. So that would be my first look here. So bearish bias for this one, but with caution though, we're coming right into that support. We have that inefficient move, which can get built. So watch out for a bounce off of the 23.80 level. But then if it continues, then we are into these lower levels and we'll keep an eye on those. But first 23.80 is the target for silver here. Same thing for gold, quite a drop here. And if you take a look at the hourly, again, this big inefficient move. So just like the move up, we had the move down, again, another move down here. So we will have to watch out for that. This is a big drop for a day. So, sorry, excuse me, last time we had this type of a drop, then price does bounce back up. So watch out for that. But I would still say bearish bias, it could continue lower. Next target is 1749 or 1750 level here. Watch out for a bounce from there back into the range. So this has been going sideways here over the last several weeks. So this is the first scenario I would look at, bouncing off of the 1749 or 1750 level and back into the range. If it does continue though, we do have this, it could continue lower here because we had that drop. So we'll have to play this by the ear. Right now, it does look bearish, but I would be cautious of that inefficient move, which means it could get filled. So 1750 is the first target. If it does continue, then 1721 is the next target. And again, we'll keep an eye on this on the daily. Same thing here for oil, a huge drop on Friday here. It is into support at this point. So this is a good support resistance level. It could turn around here, so watch out for that. So I would say caution with this one as well, but bearish bias, next target is 64.85 right into the pin. So either we are looking for a bounce off of the current level or the lower level here for oils, but bias is bearish. Copper here as well, nice drop. And with this one here, a bearish bias, next target is 4.20 for copper as well. Bitcoin, actually we'll come back to Bitcoin. Let's take a look at S&P 500 here. So this one is looking bullish. S&P 500 still continuing up, and looks like it's forming a base here and wants to move higher. So bullish bias here. And next target is 4,500. So bullish bias here for S&P 500. And next one here, Nasdaq also pushing into the highs here. It seems to be holding sideways, hasn't quite broken the resistance here. So at this point, neutral to bullish bias. Once it continues though, we're looking at 15,300 and then 15,500 as our target. So bullish bias here for Nasdaq as well. And then Dow Jones, this one also looking bullish. It's forming a support here, still pushing higher. So bullish bias. Next target is 35,700. So bullish bias for this as well. And then DAX as well, pushing right into the resistance here. It's still into the top of the range, so we have to be cautious because it could turn around just because of the resistance there. But bias is bullish. Should it continue or get through that, 16,000 will be our next target. FTSE here, FTSE also looking bullish. Now it bounced off of the support level here, but keep in mind we are right into this resistance here, and this is where it could come into trouble. So bullish bias with caution, though. 7150 is the first target, and then we're looking at 7200. Nikkei here, Nikkei also looking slightly bullish here. It's been trading within the range over the last few days or last few weeks, I should say. Bias is bullish here within the range. So looking for a move towards 28,265, and then we'll see what happens at the top of the range here. So bullish bias for Nikkei as well. And coming back to Bitcoin, Bitcoin, the current price is 44,240. So it's gone higher here. So now we are back into these levels that we haven't seen in some time, which is a good thing here. So looking bullish, next target here would be 45,680, and then we are into 46,550. So bullish bias here. It formed a base here, and now looks like we're going to look for that continuation higher. So bias is bullish for Bitcoin as well. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading week, and I'll be back again tomorrow for the daily analysis. Bye for now.